welcome everyone to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the co-hosts. To my right, it was a man who was snubbed, I tell you, for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are you doing tonight?
You know, I was working on my curveball. I felt I could be in there. I've got 12 wins at the break. What more do people want? No, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. Other than being snubbed by MLB, you know, I play in a smaller market. It's bound to happen. You know, I'm not as popular. A lot of people will talk to you about how I'm not as popular. But good evening to those people and other people that like me as well. Good evening, everyone. I am thrilled to be here as always. We've got a lot to discuss tonight, but before we get into that, how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. A little hot, but you know, it's hot. It's summer, so you can't complain about the heat because it's summer. So you can't you shouldn't complain, because we're going to complain again 6 months later when there's 2 feet of snow on the ground and it's cold as heck. So
yeah. And summer is my favorite season. I know that the heat is unbearable at times, but the long days, they make me happy. And you know, this summer started off extremely rainy, but at least now we're starting to get some nice sunny weather, and it always puts me in a better mood.
Same here. You know, get the long days of summer, get to be outside more. I was outside a lot on Friday and into Saturday, not so much on Sunday, but because it was stinking hot. But again, not going to complain, because I'd rather have this than 3 feet of snow on the ground. So yeah. All right, we're gonna get into everything in just a moment. We're gonna review Varsity Blues in our No Ticket Required series. We're already at the 6th movie of our reviews, Dustin. It's crazy.
This is unbelievable, because what do we have? 4 more?
After this, we have 3 more.
3 more. Oh,
well, it's 4 more, including tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is. This is crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy. But before we get into everything, we're also going to talk a little bit Major League Baseball, and we're going to talk about our favorite athletes to wear the number 50. But before we do that, we just want to let you know to follow us on social media. You want to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. You can also find our other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora. As of yesterday, we're on Podbean now. And also hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when we have live shows go up, when we have show announcements go up, or clips from the show up. Tonight we are on the Belly Up Twitter /X. So thanks for stopping by to anyone who is watching on the Belly Up Sports YouTube. I'm sorry, not YouTube, the Belly Up Sports Twitter /X channel. We've already got a comment from that from X, or from Twitter. We'll get to that in just a second. But also, if you're listening on the podcast side, rate, review, comment, leave us a 5-star rating, review if you can, and also leave a comment if you're on Spotify. You can also give us a comment for episodes present and past. And also, we're a live show most Tuesdays on 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and Saturdays 10 a.m. Eastern for our Saturday brunch, and also sometimes the occasional happy hour on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern. We want you to comment during the show. We got some comments rolling in already. So, Dustin, I know it's Tuesday. You know, it's been an interesting week so far, but this little tune always gives me a little bit of a pick me up before I go.
My watch, the hands are looking like they're on chime time.
They certainly are. And as I mentioned, we got a couple of comments in the comments section already. Hector from Insert Name FC podcast saying a Texas classic, which we're reviewing Varsity Blues. It's a Texas classic. Did they scan your cat? My cat's in the living room right now, so no, he has not been scanned. Nick joining us, your brother-in-law Nick joining us, says good evening to all. Good evening, Nick. And he says, ready to rumble must be added.
He was campaigning hard last night, and I said to myself, I don't think, because I did watch the movie with my sister and her family, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to pull the trigger on Ready to Rumble, Ryan. I mean, we put ourselves through quite an ordeal with No
With
Holds
no holds
Barred.
barred.
I'm not sure if I'm ready for Ready to Rumble. The
But-
reason why David Arquette became WCW champion.
Oh my god, I remember that. But I think unlike no holds barred was unintentionally funny. This was actually trying to be funny. And Oliver Platt playing a wrestler is hysterical. And Hector chiming in saying, "Would Green Street Hooligans count as a sports movie?" This is my first time ever hearing this movie. So I'll check it out. I did. Go ahead, Dustin. Go ahead.
I've seen it, and I would say very loosely counts as a sports movie. But I will say I loved this movie in college. But when I watched it years later, let's just say it didn't hold up the way I was hoping.
Okay.
So I mean, check it out. I don't want to be painting your, but Elijah Wood is the lead in it. You know, and that's all I'm going to say. Check it out.
Did he have to throw a ring of fire into the mountain of fire?
No, this was pre-Frodo, I believe.
Oh, okay. So. Gotcha. I did make an executive decision for a movie to add next year, but I'll tell you in the green room after the show. So.
All right. We got quite a list going for next year already, everyone.
I'm
Look
happy
forward to it.
Yeah, I'm happy that we kind of prepared early so we can let people know what to watch next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll let you know in 2026. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get things started with our no ticket required movie review. Let's hit that beanie trailer. Oh my god, I can't talk. Hit that trailer, Ryan. Good job. I got absolutely roasted this morning in Discord.
I was going to say the Discord's going to enjoy that one.
Yeah, Patch is going to enjoy that one.
If you know, you know. If you don't know, come on in, join us. The water's nice and warm. The link's in the description for the show. Come on over to our Discord.
Yeah, we'll put it in the link in the in both the Belly Up YouTube, which will be replayed tomorrow at 2:15 p.m. Eastern. It'll be on the podcast description as well. But we're going to review, as advertised, Varsity Blues. This is from 1999. This is a Paramount feature film, also produced by MTV Studios. Now, if I remember correctly, this was MTV Studios' first feature film. If I remember correctly, I'll have to double check on it, but do the real-time research. But they've put together 40 movies since I don't know if they're still around anymore, but Varsity Blues either was the first or one of the first feature films by MTV Studios. Actually, no, I think one of the first was Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Oh, yeah, that's probably, yeah. Yeah, that's a safe bet. But it was funny, you know, the nostalgia kicks in early for this movie, and I'll hand it over to you. I usually lead off, but when I saw that astronaut logo, I was like, oh yeah, MTV Studios. Like, I was surprised how fast I recalled that, you know, that astronaut. And it kind of took me back to a time and place when MTV was a much bigger deal.
Yes, it was. It was back when they were actually playing music videos rather than putting out MTV2. But I'm just checking the list here and going by year. Yeah, so they released Beavis and Butthead Do America. That came in 1996. I think it was. No.
Oh.
Yeah. So and then they produced in the same year Varsity Blues and South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Okay.
But there are a list of movies on there. They're also responsible for Orange County. They're responsible for Crossroads. They're responsible for Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Britney Spears' vehicle Crossroads. Can't say I've ever seen it. And just a little tidbit quick about that Beavis and Butthead movie. I wanted that soundtrack really bad because as a Nirvana super fan back in the day, it had a song on it that was only previously available as a single on the heart-shaped box single for Nirvana. The title I cannot repeat here because I think it would get us in a bucket of hot water. But if you know that soundtrack, you know what song I'm talking about, and it's a good one.
So I found the chronological order for MTV Films. Joe's Apartment with oh gosh, who was it with? It was the guy who's married to Rebecca Romaine.
John Stamos at one point he was.
At one point he was, and he left for and she left for him. Yeah. Oh, Jerry O'Connell.
Oh, okay, Cush himself.
Yes.
Jerry O'Connell from the aforementioned Jerry Maguire. Will that make the list? Tune in to find out.
Maybe. Then Beavis and Butthead Do America. Then Did you ever watch this one, Dead Man on Campus?
No, I never watched that.
I saw it in the theater.
Oh, nice.
And then Varsity Blues, January 15th, 1999. That's when it came out. They're also responsible for Election, the original Kings of Comedy, Zoolander, Orange County, as I mentioned, Jackass the movie, all the Jackasses.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see, Napoleon Dynamite, as I mentioned, Coach Carter, the remake of The Longest Yard.
The Sandler version?
The Sandler version, yes.
All right, whoever greenlit that at MTV Studios, I would like a word, please.
It's not that bad, Al.
No, it's not. It's not.
Blades of Glory.
Oh, I saw that in the theater. Talking about a movie you saw in the theater, I saw that one.
And also, until their last movie they released was June 1st, 2018, Action Point. But they're also responsible for Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. I have never seen that movie. I don't know what that movie is.
That anyway sounds like we should cue it up for a bad movie party.
That sounds like a bad movie night movie.
Along with Velocipaster and
no holds barred.
Just watch that. You do the great the rip of side. You do a great job on that one. It's perfect every time. Also, Tony Atlas, what movie are we watching tonight?
We're gonna watch some Varsity Blues. That's what we're gonna watch. It's a ranter at No Holds Barred. All right. So let's go back to Varsity Blues here. So I got some thoughts on this movie that kind of go along. Obviously, banging soundtrack. It always helps when MTV Studios is providing the music for this movie. It helps to have that kind of pull to put together some banging music. And it was the same with the Beavis and Butthead soundtrack, with Red Hot Chili Peppers doing the cover of Ohio Players' Roller Coaster. Roller coaster of love, say what? One thing I want to mention, I'll come back to it, is the cult of Bud Kilmer.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't so much like an honorarium. It's a cult.
Yeah.
I'll come back. I'll touch on that in just a few minutes. Texas high school football players can pretty much get away with anything, and it's a big privilege, especially if you're a starter. We see that is evident in the film later on when Mox becomes the starting quarterback.
Yes.
Of the West Canaan Coyotes. We see some of that, some of the privileges he gets. Mox's identity crisis. It seems like both John Moxon, I almost said Moxley, John Moxon, and his brother Kyle. You see his brother Kyle's identity crisis throughout the film, trying to find religion. It's like he's 11 years old. You see him in the movie, early in the movie, on a cross saying, "I will die for everyone's sins tonight." It's like, Kyle, no. But then you also see Mox's identity crisis throughout the film, going from backup to starter after Harbor's knee gets blown out because Billy Bob collapses before the startup, right before snap. And not only does it get blamed for ruining Coach Kilmer's perfect season, but also getting his starting quarterback, hurt.
Yeah.
You see the early. You never saw this in early other football films until I think Any Given Sunday was when we really started to see it. But you saw about players dealing with injury. You saw Billy Bob's concussion issues, Lance's knee problems, Wendell's ankle problems. You saw that early in the film, and it would continue to see that throughout the film.
Yeah, and there's also that mention where Teeter, he talks about Tweeter, sorry, Lance Arbor's looking for pain pills. A very young looking Paul Walker there. He's looking for pain pills, and Tweeter says, "Take them. I can get more anytime I want." These guys are 18 years old. They're already taking pain pills.
Yep.
So they even
I'll be fascinated to talk to the writers of the film to see what kind of research they did on this. The amount of people, the amount of games they had to go through and to go to in Texas, the amount of players, both former and possibly present at the time, that were taking the pain pills just to reduce their pain and just play. And you hear it late in the film, during the last game of the season against Gilroy when they're in the locker room, and they want to and Kilmer wants to shoot up Wendell's ankle.
Yeah.
And he says, "Don't you dare put that needle in there." And Billy Bob was like, "So help me God, I will put you in the ground if you do that."
Yeah.
And you hear this, you hear what Mox says. We kill ourselves for you every single week. And they have to go through pain pills and drink. And that's why you see so much drinking in the film, because they're trying to get rid of the pain and trying to get rid of the adrenaline.
Yep.
So yeah, you see that it wasn't really discussed back in the 90s until this movie came out and Any Given Sunday followed. You would see that. Darcy dating Lance only to escape West Canaan. It seems to be a feeling of a lot of small town girls in Texas. See Brittany Mahomes. And I don't begrudge her. I don't begrudge Brittany Mahomes. I don't begrudge Matt Stafford's wife. Her name escapes me.
Kelly? I think it's Kelly Stafford. Yeah.
She was also from Texas. So you kind of see the pretty young girls kind of glom onto the starting quarterback or whoever's playing ball, because they figure, if my man gets the big scholarship to the big school, I'm going to go join him and get out of this town, get away from this life. Mox's relationship with Jules changes after Mox becomes starting quarterback. You see the infamous whipped cream scene, which I thought I saw something that it wasn't really whipped cream. It was like a mixture of whipped cream and sour cream, because the whipped cream wouldn't stay on during production.
Yeah,
so mix it with something else.
I had heard something similar, although I thought they said they used shaving cream and mixed it, but I can't remember, but I did hear something similar of that nature. Yeah.
So I'm trying to find, here it is. Yep. In the scene where Darcy sports her whipped cream bikini, shaving cream was used. Whipped cream wouldn't stick right. Yeah. So yeah, find you a girl who puts shaving cream and makes a shaving cream bikini, put a ring on it. Life advice from an unmarried man. The defense gets no shine whatsoever.
No.
It's all about the offense. It's all about Wendell getting his ride to Grambling. It's all about Mox trying to go to Brown, trying to get out of, because of using his brain, not because of his talent in the field. Tweeter getting in trouble. Billy Bob doing his thing. Harbor, obviously, star quarterback. Also, again, I know I had to suspend disbelief when it comes to movies, when it comes to gameplay. But at 131-17, helmet to helmet, no penalty. No penalty. Also, Billy Bob an eligible receiver for that last play?
Oh well. These are the things. The plays. I'll get to it when I'm talking about my thoughts. But Ryan, you're hitting on some of the points I wanted to hit on here.
Yeah, but let's conclude. I'm gonna go, and I'm going back full circle here. The cult of Bud Kilmer, 23 district titles, 2 state championships. He is basically God in West Canaan, Texas.
Yeah,
and because all the guys who whose sons are playing. They played for Coach Kilmer, and they think he's the greatest. He's the greatest person ever. And you would hear in the locker room Mox getting chewed out by Kilmer saying, "Your father was a P word."
Yeah.
But at least he listened to what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had crap for talent, but at least he listened to what I said.
Yeah, he said he was talentless. Yeah.
It was a talentless P word.
Yep.
But he listened to what I said. And you can see the conflict between, I wouldn't say the new school mentality and the old school mentality, but you could tell the kids had it up to here. Mm-hmm. Especially Mox had it up to here with Bud Kilmer and his antics, and all these kids literally just hurting themselves for the glory and the honor of one Bud Kilmer. And you saw the statue outside the Coyote Stadium before the game and after the game. After the game, was saying, Mox was narrating, saying, "Yeah, Bud Kilmer's statue is still there, but only because it was too heavy to move."
Yeah.
And we don't know what happened with Bud Kilmer after the movie. We see him in his office after he gets told off by Mox and by Tweeter and Billy Bob. We only see him in his office, or he's reflecting on why, if his style is completely dead and why these kids don't listen to him anymore. So there's a lot of good things about this movie, and a lot of things I'm just kind of like, about this movie. We know Kilmer's a racist piece of crap. Because of the way he treats Wendell in this movie. And you see Mox saying, "I'm gonna get you in the end zone. I'm gonna get you in the end zone. Gramblin's got the eye on you. I'm gonna get you in the end zone so they can see you score a touchdown." And you did that in the last game of the season against Gilroy. So, like I said, I would love to be a fly in the room when these writers did the research, talk to these kids, talk to past players, talk to any coaches who were advisors in this film. W. Peter Iliff is the writer. Was the writer for this film. He also wrote Point Break, the original and the remake. And he's from Dallas, Texas, so he's probably well versed in football. He's also the writer for The Enforcer too. So, I've said enough about this movie. I forgot how good this movie was. I forgot how ridiculous some of these antics are, because it is a coming of age movie for sure. Yeah, it's one of the last ones we've seen, at least in our generation. We've seen. Yeah, you don't see too many coming of age comedies anymore. In fact, you don't see many comedies at all.
No, you really don't. Stylistically, things have changed, and that happens. I'm not throwing shade at what's out there today. A lot of good things are out there today, but definitely, and some things have changed for the better, to be sure. Even in this movie, there are some languages. There's some language that would not make a script today. But it was a thing of the time. I'm not making excuses, but it's a fact. Things back then, things back then, standards were a little different, and as with everything, things evolve. But you hit the nail on the head, Ryan. For me, with this movie, I'm conflicted because there's half of me that really bought into the moviness of this movie, if that makes sense. The soundtrack is a highlight of this movie. Yes. Also, these clothes. Man, if you look at the jeans that Vander Beek is wearing in the scene in the game where he's not starting, Lance is still starting, and he talks to Amy Smart after the game. Which, shout out, how you doing, Amy Smart? This was before Road Trip, but big fan Amy Smart and Ali Larder. Even though my sister cannot stand Ali Larder's character in this movie, specifically the way she says Mox, Tracy will continually make fun of that. But this movie, I am a man divided about this movie. Yes, there are quotable moments. Yes, this is James Vander Beek, arguably at the peak of his powers, because Dawson's Creek was either A, still going on, or B, coming to its conclusion. I cannot remember, but James Van Der Beek was very much a commodity when this movie was made. But let me get into some of what took me out of the movie. The soundtrack, definitely a highlight. The clothes, it was a time machine. And 1999, I was a freshman in high school. So, I mean, this movie, I was in the time period that this movie targets, and that always has an effect, whether you want to admit it or not. With me, I have a hard time divorcing myself from that nostalgia sometimes. See my ranking of blue chips on this list. But this movie has some things that are very realistic, and you empathize with Mox. You root for Mox because his father is clearly living in the past. His father and all of his friends. There's a scene where Lance Arbor's dad, Jonathan Moxon's dad, they say, "Oh, these boys are having the time of their lives." And they say, "Oh, no question." And at the time, those kids are miserable because they all hate playing for Bud Kilmer, but they won't say it. Perfect casting of Jon Voight in this movie because he plays a piece of reprehensible garbage. Bud Kilmer cares nothing for his players, nothing for their well-being. You hit on his racist. He's a racist. There's no other way to say it. And he lets his football players get away with a lot, and he gets away with a lot simply because of who he is, and he's revered. Even for half this movie, John Moxon's father wears a hat that says Kilmer's Coyotes, and it's all bent and out of shape. These older men in this movie, I find them all to be jokes, how much they live for their high school days and are putting pressure on all their boys and girls to do what they couldn't. But the things that take me out of this movie, the accents, specifically James Van Der Beek's and his dad's at certain points, I couldn't get down with it. And then Lance Arbor, we were talking a little bit about it in the green room. His father, the man who plays, what's his father's name? Joe Harbor, I think. Yes. Joe, the man who plays Joe Harbor. Now, I've seen him in other things. He has a familiar face, but his accent, he does a little Will Smith and King Richard on you because his accent in the beginning is ridiculous. It caused me to laugh out loud. The scene where they're trying to have a competition between their two sons to see who can make the throws and all this. And he's like, "You feel like chicken tonight." Like that's exactly how he says it. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then later in the movie, his accent is, shall we say, muted. But I'm like, oh my God. I was like, if I was from Texas, I would be pissed because I would be like, this is not how we talk. They're making us sound like idiots. But so the accents take me out of this movie. And then the other thing that kind of takes me out of this movie and is going to hurt its ranking, I agree with its message. I agree, it's trying to tell you, the pressure that these people are under is immense. Football coaches should not be revered like this. It's too much to put on a high school, but similar to last year when we watched the other football movie that we watched, and I skewered it for doing a checklist. The program, yes, that's right. We reviewed it with Wise. Yep. I skewered it for hitting a checklist, and this movie's doing the same thing. Okay, head coach that doesn't respect any of his players, checklist. Head coach that cares only about himself, checklist. The players being able to get away with everything because they're athletes and they're the starters, checklist. Things running amok, checklist. Mox's personality changing once he becomes the starter, checklist. The injecting players with steroids and pain pills, checklist. Every kid on this team seems to have somewhat of an alcohol problem, checklist. So, it's a lot of, they're trying to throw a lot into one movie. And then also Mr. Moxon clearly so focused on John living the dream that he wants. His other son is clearly looking for attention or something, and he gets ignored the whole movie. He starts a cult, and they don't even acknowledge it. And I realize that was probably an attempt at comedy in this movie, but I don't think it needed that. There's enough quotable moments in this movie, specifically by Tweeter and Billy Bob. And, there's so many quotable movies. And then we have the subplot with the teacher. We all know what it is. If you've seen the movie, you know what it is. Billy Bob would give it a 10. But I still say that. I know. I still say that to this day. I still, and shout out to my buddy Jay. If you're watching, in high school, we used to say that all the time. All the time we would say that. So, I mean, this movie has quotable moments, and it's checking the sports movie boxes. The slow clap makes an appearance in this movie.
Yep. Started by the movie Lucas.
Yep. And that's a good answer, because my sister asked the question last night. She said, I want to know when the slow clap started. And I said, I don't know.
You're welcome, Tracy.
But yeah, so this movie, I am conflicted about this movie, but the soundtrack, the clothes, it took me back into a time machine, and even that MTV astronaut, and I enjoyed the watch. But you're going to see how conflicted I feel when we get to the rankings. Which, Ryan, is it that time? Is it time to rank them?
Almost, but I want to go over the soundtrack for soundtracks. The songs that appear on the Varsity Blues soundtrack. And I'm trying to find there's actually a playlist on Spotify. Let's see. Fly by Loudmouth. Nice Guys Finish Last by Green Day. My Hero from the Foo Fighters. Run from Collective Soul, which actually is probably the song of the entire movie.
It is. I think it was the main song. Yeah.
Yes. Are you ready for the Fallout by Fastball? Every Little Thing Counts by Janice Stark. Hot for Teacher, obviously during that one scene. Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Nitro, Youth Energy, in parentheses, by The Offspring. My Girlfriend is a Waitress by The Iguanas. Love-O-Rama by Southern Culture on the Skids.
Oh, yeah.
Texas Floods by Stevie Ray Vaughan. One Foot in Front of the Other by Leroy Parnell. The Wayward Wind by Tex Ritter. Pride of San Jacinto by the Reverend Horton Heat. Are you ready for the freak out? Yeah.
Oh, man. Reverend Horton Heat, man.
Yeah. Valley of the Pharaohs by the Hellcasters, and Boom 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 by the Iguanas. So that's the soundtrack for Varsity Blues.
That's a great soundtrack. I mean, go put on Galaxy 500 by the Reverend Horton Heat after the show. You'll thank me later.
All right. So yes, let's actually we have one comment before we get to our rankings. So Scott says from Mox's closing monologue over the narration, Tweeter drank beer because, well, Tweeter drinks beer.
Yeah. And the ominous Bud Kilmer never coached again. And that was it.
That was it. All right. So Dustin, since you let me lead off, I'm going to have you lead off with your ranking. Where does this movie rank?
All right.
It's not movie rankings.
It's not knocking Seabiscuit off the top. Seabiscuit's still number one. Still number one for me. Number two behind it was Invictus. I put Invictus at number two, if memory serves. Number three, holding still, is Blue Chips. Come at me, nostalgia strong with that movie. Number four, Mystery Alaska. Still, yes, that's right. I am putting Mystery Alaska above Varsity Blues because I bought in more. I was very conflicted. Varsity Blues lands at number 5 for me.
Okay.
Number six is Draft Day. Number 7, still in last. Always going to be last. Ooh. No holds barred. No holds barred.
All right. So here's my rankings here. So number 1, Seabiscuit, obviously. Number 2, Mystery Alaska, just over Invictus at number 3. Number 4, just by a hair, though, Blue Chips.
Mm-hmm.
Just by a hair. Then following that, Varsity Blues. Then Draft Day. Then No Holds Barred.
Oh,
So,
man.
yep. So next week we'll be reviewing The Rookie, starring Dennis Quaid. It's based on a true story. If I bring up the description here, no, not Nathan Fillion, from 2007 Disney produced film, because of course.
Yeah.
Texas baseball coach makes the major league after agreeing to try out if his high school team made the playoffs. So great movie. Dennis Quaid stars as Jimmy Morris, who
Mhm.
pitched for the Tampa Bay Rays, I believe it was.
Yeah.
He's the one who tried out for. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, so that we'll be reviewing that movie this week. It's on Disney Plus. If you want to check it out, if you want to rent it, it's good. You can do that too. Then the following week, we're gonna bring back an old friend who's gonna join us for The Natural. It's gonna be this guy who joins us for The Natural.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
That's right. Put your ones to the sky for our Trouble
That's
Chief.
right. That's
It's gonna be
right.
coming back.
Can't
Then we're
wait. Can't wait to chop it up with Wise. It's been too long.
Way too long. Then we'll conclude our series on the 29th with Remember the Titans, but we might do some bonus content. Because
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore 2 comes out the next day.
Oh. Meet me at the 12th green, Ryan, or whatever the green is. I can't remember. Is it the 11th green? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Happy Gilmore 2. It's gonna be something. It could be one of two ways. It could completely suck, or it could be funny. We don't know. But yeah. Anywho, that's been this edition of No Ticket Required. All right, we're gonna take our network mandated commercial break. We want to talk to you about our friends at Royal Retros. Let me bring up my handy dandy copy here. Excuse me 1 second here. There we go. Remember when jerseys were bold, mustaches were glorious, and shorts were way too short? Good news! You can bring all that retro magic back, minus the shaving, with Royal Retros. They've got vintage style football, baseball, basketball, and hockey gear that screams, I was born in the wrong era, but I look amazing. Rock a jersey that makes people say, wait, is that from the 80s or the 70s or the 90s? Yes, it is. And you look fantastic. Head to royalretros.com, use the promo code CREDHEAD at checkout for 10% off your order. That's CREDHEAD, CREDHEAD. Of course, those who are credheads, you have excellent taste in throwbacks. Royal Retros, because your fandom deserves a little flair. And I'm going to give you the team of the night. It is the Albuquerque Six Guns of the Central Hockey League. They played in the Central Hockey League for only one season, 1973 to 1974. They were supposed to be the farm team of the Kansas City Scouts. However, the team wouldn't hit the ice for another year. Team finished 16-40-16 and folded at the end of the season. You know why I previewed this? I spotlighted this team because I'm wearing the shirt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the logo.
That's some quality material there.
It is quality material. I got it at Royal Retros. I used the promo code CREDHEAD. I got myself 10% off my order. Also got a New York Yankees of the AAFC. Yes, there was a football team named the New York Yankees back in the day when they competed with the NFL. So it's not just the USFL and the AFL and other leagues that compete with the NFL. We had other competition back in the 40s. So, but yeah, check out royalretros.com. Save 10% off your order with promo code CREDHEAD at checkout. They haven't disappointed me yet with anything that I've ordered from them. But even back when they were at 503 Sports, I ordered stuff from them. So I'm sure you see my Baltimore Stallions T-shirt. Which, by the way, I'm working on some long form content for the YouTube channel. So you want to stay tuned, hit that notification bell, so you're notified when the video goes up. And I'm going to actually try to make a commercial for Royal Retros because that's going to be the primary sponsor for that. So, talking about the CFL in the USA, I'm also working on some Albany. Do you remember this team, Dustin? The Albany Choppers.
I personally don't remember the Albany Choppers, but I have heard a famous character on the show, Uncle Al, talk about them from time to time.
Yes, because I reached out to some people. I said, what were some short-lived sports stories, like player seasons or teams or leagues you want to hear about? And I asked my friend, some of our people at Belly Up Sports, and also your uncle Al. Ask guys about short-lived teams and leagues. All great ideas. So I kind of inspired to write about the Albany Choppers. So
nice. We got Albany Choppers, the Albany Kick. I remember them.
Oh, the New York Kick of the Major Leagues of Soccer. Yes, I remember going to a game. I think they finished like 3-33 the 1 year they played.
And then I'm trying to remember there was a precursor to the River Rats, and I can't remember
the Capital District Islanders.
That's right, the Capital District Islanders. And do you know who my favorite player was on the Capital District Islanders? Steve Junker.
Wow. I'll have to find out where he is and get an interview on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna work on some long form content. Maybe I'll work on some of that while we're on our 2-week break, because we got a 2-week break. I just want to give a heads up to our audience. We have a 2-week break coming up after our no credentials required, no ticket required series. So we'll be doing about 3 more shows, and we'll take a 2-week break in mid-August, just for the summer, just because we need to charge our batteries. We need to recharge our batteries for the NFL season coming up. So that's what we'll be doing from August 10th to the 23rd. We'll have that little break in between. So just want to give our listening and viewing audience a heads up.
Yeah.
All right. We're talking about nearing the midpoint of the Major League Baseball season. We've already got some contestants out there. This week is next Tuesday is the All-Star game. Raise your hand if you care. All right.
I like to watch the Derby, though. I can't lie. I like to watch the Derby.
Everyone loves the Derby, and we've got we found out we've got some committed participants in the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby.
Yeah.
So we've got Ronald Acuna Jr., obviously, because you need a hometown. You need some hometown flair when it comes to your home run derby. You got to have at least one guy representing your city, because it's in Atlanta this year because they took it away in 2021. Jerks. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
The big dumper. They had a dump truck. They had a dump truck parked out. The Mariners are loving that. I mean, he's on pace to annihilate the home run total by catcher, but sometimes players, once they enter the Derby, it kind of messes with their swing a little bit. So hopefully that doesn't happen to Mr. Raleigh.
I hope not either. James Wood from the Washington Nationals, he will participate in the home run derby. Byron Buxton from the Minnesota Twins, who is originally from Georgia, he'll participate in the home run derby. And O'Neal Cruz from the Pittsburgh Pirates has confirmed that he's the 5th participant in the home run derby. One player missing, one notable name missing, Pete Alonso. He will not participate in the All-Star game this year. And his reasoning was, and I'm paraphrasing here, he says, I believe he was not named as a reserve or a starter for the National League All-Star team. The reason why he's not participating is because he says, I would like to enjoy the 3 days off I have during this time. I don't blame him at all.
Yeah. I don't blame him. And you'd imagine that some players, maybe they fly home to see their families, or they have their families come out. I know a lot of the players that participate in All-Star Weekend and in the All-Star game, they fly their families out because it's something.
But I stand corrected. He's a reserve, but he elected not to participate in the home run derbies because he wanted some time to chill out. So, which is fine. Hey, and you're reserve, so you can go in for a couple innings and then chill out for the rest of the time. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see who else is going to participate in the home run derby this year.
Yeah. And what's it, next Monday then?
It's this coming Monday. Yes, we have 6 days to prepare for.
All right.
For the Mash'em sweepstakes.
I'm gonna throw it out then. I'm gonna throw it out. Ryan, an open invite for you next Monday to come and watch the Derby at my house. Scott, I know you're in the comments. Let's get together. Let's watch some long balls, man. Let's do this thing. I'll send a text after the show.
I can tell you what this is going to be already. Oh yeah. Oh man. So another thing I noticed today, while I was perusing social media, I know I'm hearing it from people already, from Cole, from Wise, from Snowman, saying, "What are you doing that for?" Well, the reason why I did that is because I was just looking for some things to talk about for the midpoint of the Major League Baseball season. Dustin, we haven't talked about our New York Yankees. I mean, other than last Saturday's show with our Saturdays with Kevin segment.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked a whole lot about our New York Yankees. So let me see if I can find that, because StreamYard is messing around with some things. But so let me go ahead and talk about our New York Yankees.
New York Yankees?
The New York Yankees!
Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle, Costanza?
I
love that band.
Yeah, it's so good.
So I looked on you. This is a credit to U Stadium, their Twitter account. It says the back cover of the New York Post is a full ad for the Yankees to trade for multiple pieces at the trade deadline. And it says this, and I'll share it on my screen. If you're watching on the Belly Up YouTube channel or live on our Facebook channel or on the Belly Up. Where is it? Where's tab? Dang it. Oh, here it is. Got it. Yeah, if you're watching on the Belly Up Twitter channel, you'll be able to see it. It's right here. It says, help wanted. Actively seeking candidates for multiple starting pitchers, multiple relief pitchers, capable third baseman, and a righty hitting outfielder. Contact GM Brian Cashman for more info. So as you can see from this back page of the New York Post from today, Yankees have some concerns.
Yeah.
And obviously starting pitching is a big concern because
yes,
not only is Garrett Cole gone until at least midway through next season, Clark Schmidt might be heading towards Tommy John from what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not
recently a reliever, I think as of today, retroactive to the 7th, which was yesterday. Mark Letter Jr. was placed on the 15-day injured list with a left fibular head stress fracture, which is just a fancy name for a lower leg stress fracture. So he's got something going on with his leg. It talked about the third base, capable third baseman, because Jazz Chisholm is not doing a great job at third base.
I did hear they are moving him back to second tonight.
They're moving him to second, which they never should have done in the first place. They never moved him to third in the first place. Osvaldo Peraza did an excellent job on Sunday to thankfully not get swept by the Mets, because we would have never heard the end of it as Yankee fans. Mm-hmm. And also a right-handed hitting outfielder. Isn't Aaron Judge a right-handed hitting outfielder? I mean, I'm kind of confused, but I think Jason Dominguez, I believe, is a switch hitter.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger, obviously left-handed. So yeah, I mean, another right-handed batter, and Giancarlo Stanton occasionally plays outfield, but you see him more in the DH role. So
DH, yeah, at
I
this point.
understand, but based on this weekend, Dustin, and they're playing Seattle today. They're playing Seattle tonight for a 3-game series. They got Seattle for the next 3 games. Then they've got the Cubs coming to town for a 3-game series, and we've got another guy who is not elected to the All-Star team in Seiya Suzuki, who is snubbed. He's not playing for the National League. He leads the Major League in RBIs. He was with he's coming to town with Kyle Tucker and the Cubbies.
Mm-hmm.
If the Yankees got swept this weekend, would it had been officially time to hit the panic button?
I think so. I mean, I'm already hitting this button, and we know my reputation on this show is a pessimistic Yankee fan, and I always complain about that the Yankees never have enough pitching. They never seem to have enough pitching, and validation came from our boy of summer last Saturday. He said, "You're right," but I'm not always right. But about that, but it is because here's the predictable thing. The Yankees can't hit anybody right now. Frankie Montas shut them out, was shutting them down, pitching for the Mets over, I think it was Saturday's start, July 5th, I think Montas was the starter.
Yep.
And this offensive slide always happens to the Yankees because baseball, that's baseball, Susan.
Susan.
It's a long season.
I had a soundbite for that.
Yeah, but this feels, yes, this is not the garden variety. Oh, the team is sliding. It's the way they're sliding. It's not like they're losing close game. They're getting beat up some nights, and it doesn't look good at all. I think Brent was talking about in the comments on Saturday's show.
Yep.
He's as tuned in as any Yankee fan, and he broke down DJ LeMahieu struggling, everybody struggling all at the same time. And guess what? Aaron Judge is slumping, which he does. He's good for at least a couple times a season. He slumps. And guess what? In the playoffs, he's starting to get that reputation that he slumps.
Yep.
But that can happen to any baseball team. But as usual, the New York Yankees find themselves short of pitching. And Ryan, I think it's time to panic, even though I know the Yankees front office won't panic, as you mentioned. This is panic time because this is not the Jays are looking like they're actually for real, which shocks both of us. I know.
Yeah, they heard my 100 loss prediction for them, and they're winning out of spite.
They did.
Winning is to spite me.
They did, and talked about George Springer having kind of a renaissance season unexpectedly.
Former Tri-City Valley Cat. George Springer.
That's right. Right. And, you didn't think I questioned openly whether their pitching would be able to hold up with the roller coaster that is Jose Barrios and Kevin Gausman and Chris Bassett. I mean, Chris Bassett, he's had rocky moments at points for the Jays, but he's looked very good. So they're kind of surprisingly doing it this year. The Yankees could blow this lead, and we know that the Rays are going to be in there. We know that the Rays are going to be in there. It's their makeup as a team. The Orioles, I'm sorry, Baltimore, but we cursed you.
Yep.
And
although they're only 9 games below 500 now. So the swoon may be over, but I mean, wilder things have happened. I mean, remember last year, the Detroit Tigers were looking like an absolute dog's breakfast.
Yeah.
Through the first part of the season up until August, and they caught fire and they got a wild card spot, and they beat the Astros in the wild card round.
Yeah, and they were sellers at the deadline, Ryan, if I remember last year. I think the Tigers sold a bunch.
They traded Jack Flaherty to Los Angeles, to the Dodgers. He won a ring with them, and he came back to the team as a free agent. So we do have an update on our race for the wooden spoon. Where are you? Come on, StreamYard, making my life difficult. There it is. Race for the wooden spoon. No credentials required presents the race for the wooden spoon. I think it's time to call it. Because at this point in the season, Colorado Rockies are now 21-70. And my pick, the Miami Marlins, are currently 41-48. They just got done with a 11-game win streak recently. So
yeah.
it might, yeah. And obviously the Toronto Blue Jays, they're currently in first place in the AL East, and Los Angeles Angels, they are 2 games under 500, holding steady at 40-46.
Yeah.
So I think it might be time to call it. I think you win, Dustin.
All right, but hey, let's see what happens.
Nah, I think this is a prediction time. Restradamus is going to make it a return. I think they'll reach their 100th loss by the end of August.
Yeah, that's probably pretty feasible. And you wish things were going better for Colorado, but it looks like they could potentially be setting historic records for losses. Now, if you had picked the White Sox, we'd have a much closer race, but I respect your not wanting to do that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to correct myself. The Marlins just came off an 8-game winning streak.
Okay.
But they're 7-3 in their last 10. They actually beat the Reds last night. So, and they surpassed Atlanta in the NL East. So they're now third place in the National League East,
Which is crazy to me.
Which is totally crazy.
Man, I don't understand. The Braves slide needs to be studied.
It does. It does. That 0-7 start just absolutely destroyed them. But speaking of the Braves, we had a comment in the chat on Saturday's episode about the truth behind Ronald Acuna, the Braves being sellers at the trade deadline, and the Mariners being linked to them, linked to Ronald Acuna Jr. for the trade deadline. I have some sources telling me that rumor is absolute garbage because Ronald Acuna is on a cheap contract through 2028, and they want to build and the Braves want to build around him.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like Ronald Acuna Jr. is going anywhere. Mr. Dan Cruz of Time to BS podcast, he's the one who brought up in the chat. We didn't get a chance to talk about it on Saturday, but I got my sources who say, that rumor is absolute trash, and the ones who started that rumor are just doing it for clicks and just to do to farm some engagement, which we don't do that here. No credentials required because we have ethics. Damn it,
we do.
Yeah, we don't start rumors just to get clicks and cheap engagement because we don't do that around here. We want to keep things honest and keep things entertaining, which we'll do again in this segment, which is our last segment of the night. Our favorite athletes to wear the number 50. And Dustin, you were kind enough to let me lead off in our review of Varsity Blues. So I'll have you lead off in this segment. Your favorite athlete to wear the number 50.
All right. Well, this one pains me to say favorite athlete to wear the number 50. But game recognized game. He is one of the best to ever do it. I'm talking about the Admiral, David Robinson. Now, he played for the San Antonio Spurs, so you know how I feel about him as a Mavs fan. I don't like the Spurs, but you got to recognize the greatness that is David Robinson. Yep. Unbelievable career. Longevity was a word that came to mind when talking about David Robinson. He played center, I think, his entire career with the San Antonio Spurs. I think he was drafted off the Navy team. That's why he was called the Admiral. But listen to some of this stuff. He was a 10-time All-Star. He played 14 seasons for the San Antonio Spurs. And he won 2 championships with the Spurs, and he was named the NBA's most valuable player in 1995. He was also named to the NBA's 50th anniversary all-time team, and he is considered one of the greatest centers to play the game, and he is a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
So, I mean, what more needs to be said about David Robinson? He was always cleaning up the glass, and he played through pain and everything. And as he got older, his mentorship and seeding of the team somewhat to Mr. Tim Duncan is another admirable quality from the Admiral. So David Robinson, despite the fact that he played for my despised rival in the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs, tip my cap to David Robinson. He's the person that came to mind for me when number 50 is on the mind.
All right. So my number 50 is the Samurai. And yes, that was his nickname, Mike Singletary. One of the most intense individuals on a football field in the history of ever. If you watch the brilliant 30 for 30 of the 85 Bears, it's probably, I would say, arguably my favorite 30 for 30. By the way, there's a new one tonight about Jim Abbott.
Oh, I'm going to be watching that.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be on Disney Plus very, very soon, or Netflix very, very soon. But the 85 Bears, absolutely one of my favorite 30 for 30s. Features the 85 Bears, arguably one of the greatest defenses of all time when it comes to regular season. He was a big part of that team. Drafted in 1981 from Baylor University, wasn't really well known until, actually no, from right away he started as one of the most feared linebackers in the position. When Pro Football Reference is not giving me a whole lot here when it comes to his stats. But he is a Hall of Famer, 10-time Pro Bowler, 7-time All-Pro, won the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 20 with the Bears, was part of the All 1980s team, was 2-time Defensive Player of the Year for both AP and UPI, won the 1990 Walter Payton Man of the Year, obviously named after his teammate Walter Payton, who another guy we lost way too soon.
Oh yeah,
lost way too soon. And also won the 1988 Alan Page Award for community service. But we all will know him for his performance on the field, one of the best linebackers, part of that 46 defense that was so feared back in the day. Although the one guy who figured it out was Dan Marino in that infamous game, Monday night game in 1985. And I remember the story about him and Buddy Ryan when Buddy Ryan stayed when his rookie year, when he's telling him to look in different places, and he says, "Yeah, Buddy Ryan made me the player that I became on this team." Played all 12 years with the Bears. Never went to another team. Retired from 1981 to 1992. Played 12 seasons with the Bears, and arguably one of the greatest middle linebackers in the history of football. And not his coaching career, a little much to be desired.
I'm pretty sure he's the only coach to ever moon his players, so there's that.
Yes, he's the only player to pretty much drop his pants during a halftime speech, and with the 49ers. His best season was 8-8 in 2009. He was fired after week 16 in 2010. Was also the coach of the Memphis Express of the short-lived Alliance of American Football, too. And before we get out of here, Drew Willingham, D. Willie checking in. Fellas!
What's going on, Drew?
We're doing total football talk every Friday, so come on out and check us out. I have one more week. I have one more week to fill in for total football talk. Oh yeah, Mike Singletary also hated Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis. I almost said Vernon Adams Jr. Vernon Davis. Yeah, absolutely. I did not like Vernon Davis.
Oh yeah, the whole "I want winners" speech. Go look it up. That's about Vernon Davis. He sent him to the showers at halftime.
And All right, we're going to get out of here. Saturday morning is up in the air right now. I reached out to Gaz from Levac and Gaz and see if we can both get them both on the show on Saturday. We're open to see. Gaz right now is a 90% chance of probably making it, and hopefully he'll bring Levac for the ride. So we might have a special Saturday show with our friends Levac and Gaz, talk about the Firebirds, talk about baseball, talk about Gaz's hate for Clayton Kershaw. I can't wait to hear that. You will not want to miss the show on Saturday morning when Gaz has to explain his hate for Clayton Kershaw. But in the meantime, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us again. Just want to remind you about our social media pages. Go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. Also check out our other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and now Podbean, as well as our YouTube channel after the show. And then get yourself notified. Hit the notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when you're notified about live shows going up, when you're notified about videos going up. I'm sure we'll have the Varsity Blues review on our YouTube page and the No Credentials Required YouTube page later in the week, because this will be on this program. Tonight's live stream will be on the Belly Up YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon at 2:15 p.m. And also hit the notification bell for show announcements. And just stay tuned. And again, rate, review, comment on the podcast side. 5-star rating. Review if you can. Leave a comment both on Spotify and on the Belly Up YouTube page. We want to know what you think of Varsity Blues. What do you think about the All-Star game and the home run derby? What do you think about the Yankees' struggles? And also, drop your favorite number 50 in the comments as well. So we're gonna get out of here. Thank you for joining us on No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. Enjoy the rest of the week. We'll be back on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. Join us as we go along with the Saturday brunch with either Kevin or Levac and Gaz from Fox Sports 980 in Albany. So thanks for being here. Have a great week.
Good night, everybody.
I don't want your life.
I was waiting for it.
I love that dog.